What's up, everybody? Flasher with Flashy Dark Arts. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, do that now. We both know you're a procrastinator. You're going to forget to do it later, so subscribe now. Alright, you guys. The International Working Men's Association meeting in 1864 is important because that first international, that is when all the socialism, communism, fascism, Nazism, it all became the same ideology, okay? Well, the communism and socialism did, and it gave birth to Nazism, fascism, and all the other isms, okay? So I'll explain that more in the third part, okay? Right now, just take my word for it. When I'm talking about communism, I am also speaking of socialism. It is the same damn thing to me. So, after violent Marxist overthrow of the government in 1917, okay, the Soviet Union breaks into chaos, right? They got small factions fighting a civil war on multiple fronts for control of Russia now. Okay, Vladimir Lenin winds up becoming the leader, and he implements communism, what Joseph Stalin later calls Leninism. Okay, now, Lenin holds power for about 6 years before dying and giving control to the murderous dictator Joseph Stalin. Alright, now, before you go, bro, that's what happens with communism, okay, not with socialism. You are wrong, okay? This is the same thing that happened with Nazi Germany, okay? Socialism brought Hitler to leadership, gave him power. Okay, it's irrelevant if he became more capitalistic later. Socialism brought him to power. It is the same damn design as communism. Pretty much every dictator in the 1900s was brought to power through socialism. Is it just me, or did the sun go bye-bye? That's better. Mao Zedong, Joseph Stalin, Adolf Hitler, Kim Jong-il, Mussolini, Fidel Castro, okay, Nicolas Maduro were all brought to power through socialism. I know you can say, oh, it's communism, it was fascism, it was Nazism, okay, all you want, but the truth is it was socialist ideas that brought these men to power. The idea of taking freedoms away to redistribute is what brings a dictator to power. Why is this? Well, because not everybody wants to give away their freedom, their money, and their God-given rights, okay? So you need a strong individual to take power and force everybody to do it at gunpoint. Oh, nobody's doing it at gunpoint. Come on, bro, the gun rhetoric is a little harsh, a little extreme. Nobody's forcing you with a gun. I mean, really? The gun talk is important because you want to know what, at the end of the day, if you don't do what they want you to do, okay, you get fined. If you don't pay the fine, somebody with a gun comes and forces you to do what they want you to do. The gun talk is completely relevant. So the question becomes, how do you get a free, prosperous country to accept socialist ideas and put a dictator in power? How do you get free men to give up their freedoms? Happened to Cuba in 1939, happened to Czechoslovakia in 1948, happened to Venezuela in 1992. Venezuela currently has the largest oil reserve in the world. They're sitting on it, okay? They had the fourth best economy in the world. They were thriving under capitalism. And then after accepting socialism, they are now starving and rioting in the streets. How does this happen? The answer is socialist Kool-Aid. One sip of this will wreck your country forever. Now an individual packet so you don't have to spike the punch bowl anymore. No, just kidding. The real answer as to how you get free men to give away their freedom lies with Yuri Bezmenov. He was a Soviet Union trained media propagandist. Yuri Bezmenov defected from the Soviet Union in 1970. Okay, he fled to Canada where he wrote a love letter to America. No, really, that's what it's called. It's called a love letter to America. It was a letter to Americans explaining how the Soviet Union planned to destroy him. Okay, if you get a chance, read it. It's pretty informative. Yuri Bezmenov was a KGB agent trained in ideological subversion.
Ideological subversion is the process which is legitimate, overt and open. You can see it with your own eyes.
Ideological subversion is the science of slowly changing a group's perception of reality over time. Okay? It's re-education, or if you would prefer, brainwashing.
Or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions.
Now before you go, brainwashing isn't real, me, quit watching facts. Okay? Ask yourself why so many people are stuck in cults they can't escape. Ask yourself why so many people willingly drank the Kool-Aid in Jonestown. I just realized the Kool-Aid joke, socialist Kool-Aid joke, was in bad taste. Moving on. Ideological subversion is real, and it is brainwashing. By controlling politics, media, and the education system, by controlling those three things, you can persuade a country to do damn near anything. Okay? No matter how harmful or destructive it is to their self, to their family, to their community, or to their country.
It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in 4 basic stages.
According to Yuri Bezmenov, the 4 steps to ideological subversion are as follows. Step 1, demoralization. Ruin the culture, get the country to hate itself. Make them think their country needs to change. Step 2, destabilization. Make the group that is mentally controllable demand change from the people who still embrace the culture. Step 3, crisis. Create actual conflict between the 2 groups. Push for a civil war. 4, normalization. Get a dictator to take control of the people or weaken the country enough to allow an enemy force to take control of it. Does this look familiar? It should. It's been happening to us for over 75 years now.
Most of it is done by Americans to Americans, thanks to lack of moral standards. As I mentioned before, exposure to true information does not matter anymore.
We've been in the second step, destabilization, for a very long time. We're starting to move up on crisis. We have our founding fathers to thank for it taking this long. They put up so many barriers to keep us from losing our freedoms that it's made it very difficult to do, right? Things like freedom of speech, freedom of press, okay, the right to keep and bear arms. This has made it difficult for these people to push the agenda that they're trying to push. Join me in part 3 as I explain how communist socialist ideas infiltrated our country and how ideological subversion is happening to America as we speak. This is Flash with Flashy Dark Arts. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, okay, and I'll see you in part 3.
A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures, even if I take him by force to the Soviet Union and show him concentration camp, he will refuse to believe it.